Afternoon. Is there a motion to accept the minutes of the previously held meeting? Second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you. We have, I do believe, an item that's up for public hearing this afternoon. At least one, correct? And so the procedure for that public hearing is that we will ask those that wish to speak in favor to make comment about the public hearing, and then those that wish to speak against to make comment as well. Then we'll repeat that process this evening at 7 o'clock. And after that 7 o'clock meeting, we will then, the committee will make a recommendation to all of City Council, either to pass, to take time, refer the item, or to turn the item down. So those are the procedures. However, what we must do is, before we begin, swear in anyone that is here that wishes to speak on the public hearing this afternoon. If you wish to speak against or for or what have you, we ask that you please stand up and be sworn in by a representative of our law department.
Please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give is the truth? If so, please say I do.
Thank you, representative from our law department. At this time, we will begin the public hearing process. And the first item that's up for public hearing is an ordinance approving, with modification, the renewal application of Frank and Mary Politz to have agricultural property at 1661 Dreisbach Drive placed in an agricultural district pursuant to Ohio Revised Section 929. Mr. Antonucci.
Mr. Chairman, committee members, Frank and Mary Politz are requesting renewal of agricultural district designation for their property at 1661 Dreisbach Drive. The Politzes have 12.64 acres of land devoted for agricultural use. The renewal of this designation will provide financial benefits in the form of property tax relief, and planning staff recommends approval.
Thank you, Mr. Antonucci, for the brief description. Is there anyone here? We'll now open up the public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak in favor of the proposed modification and renewal application at 1661 Dreisbach? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone in favor? Okay, very good. Is there anyone here wishing to speak against this proposal? Anyone here wishing to speak against? Anyone? Okay, very good. Not hearing anyone, we'll close the public hearing and open up to any committee members if there's any questions. Any questions? Reference the conditional use request from committee members. Very good. Hearing none. Any questions from any council members that may not be on the committee about this proposal? Okay, very good. Oh, yes, Mr. Malik from Ward 8.
What are the financial benefits that the property owner receives from the designation?
Well, this has to do with the taxes, the county tax value. So if land is an agricultural designation, this particular property is pretty much treed, all treed. So it fits and it has the correct amount of acreage for this agricultural designation. So there's a tax break essentially for that use. The actual value I don't have off.
I can talk to you afterward about this. A little familiar. Okay, very good. Anything else reference this one?
Yeah, Mr.
Segedy?
Mr. Chair, I believe the law department had a little bit more information that they could provide as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. Briefly, just the legality of it. This particular property has been recognized by City Council as an agricultural use district for at least the last 15 years under the identical terms is in the legislation before you today. Chapter 929 of the revised code reflects the state policy of protecting lands devoted to agricultural use by providing certain benefits to lands that qualifies. So Section 929.01 recognizes production of timber and growth of timber within the definition of agricultural production. So Council has the authority to modify the application, and consistent with previous legislation for this and other lands granted agricultural district status, the legislation modifies the application to include the provision that status will cease upon the applicant requesting that the city provide water and/or sewer service to the land.
Thanks. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to make any comments reference the conditional use request this afternoon? Any other questions, comments? Very good. With none, we'll now move on to the balance of the agenda, and I'm going to propose that we take time on the agenda, and then we move into new legislation. This would be item number 3, which is ratifying the actions of the mayor and entering into a lease agreement with Alan Eder for the retail space in the city-owned Broadway parking deck.
Good afternoon, council members. Abraham Westcott from the Office of Integrated Development. This legislation proposes to continue leasing a small part of Broadway parking deck to Alan Eder. This property is at 84 East Mill Street. The city started leasing the property about 1,200 square feet, located on Mill Street, level of the parking deck to Alan Eder in 2004. Initially, space was considered to be a storage room. According to the agreement, Alan Eder was required to expend at least $44,000 to build out the area to create retail space at that location. The city will lease the property to Alan Eder for 5 years on one 5-year renewal option. So it's a total of 10 years. The lease rate in year 1 through 5 will be $7 a square foot of the 1,200 square foot area. The city will receive $700 a month for the next 60 months. Alan Eder will be responsible for the gas and electric utilities. Providing that the developer, in this case, Alan Eder, exercises the 5-year renewal period, the lease rate for year 6 will be $8 a square foot, where the city will receive $800 a month, or $9,600 a year. The city adds 15 cents a year per square foot for each subsequent year. In year 10, the city will receive $10,320 that year, or $860 a month in rent. In addition, the city will continue to make parking available on a validation basis, up to 7 spaces for the business located in the deck. I request your approval for this.
Thank you, Mr. Westcott. Is this exercising an option from the original contract, or is this going to be a whole new contract?
This is a new contract. The initial contract was 2004 and expired in October.
Gotcha. Okay, very good. Thank you. Further questions? Consent agenda okay?
That's correct.
Okay, very good. Is there a recommendation for consent? Is there a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The ayes have it.
Thank you.
For approving and authorizing the execution of an option agreement and a development agreement with East Akron Neighborhood Development Corporation or its designee, providing for the sale and redevelopment of city-owned property. So we're talking about an option agreement as well as a development agreement.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and council members. My name is Frederick Wheat, W-H-E-A-T, with OID. This right here, next item is for the city to offer an option to purchase approximately 2 acres of vacant land located at the southwest intersection of Maple Street and Cedar Street to the East Akron Neighborhood Development Corporation. The property is zoned primarily as apartment use. The city will sell the land to ENDC for $1. ENDC is proposing to build a 3-story apartment building with a mix of 2, 3, and 4 unit apartments for a total of somewhere between 40 and 50 units. The units are intended for families that attend the I-Primary School on West Market Street. ENDC will be using the tax credits to help develop the site and needs to show them site control, enable for them to obtain the tax credits.
Thank you. I see Mr. Julian's here from the ENDC. I didn't know if you wanted to say anything or not, but I see you have some maps, so we'll allow you a couple minutes here to say a few things.
Be my pleasure to speak about the project. My name is Kyle Julian, Director of Urban Planning with East Akron Neighborhood Development, 550 South Arlington Street. And I'm speaking today about our request to receive an option to purchase vacant land at the corner of Cedar and Maple Streets on the near west side. And this land will facilitate a new housing development there to be financed with low-income housing tax credits. We're preparing our application now, and it's the result of a partnership between our agency and the LeBron James Family Foundation, the I Promise School. And what we are proposing to do is to work with the school in order to market affordable housing, make affordable housing available to the families who have children enrolled at the school or whose children participate in the extended I Promise network. As their experience in running the school for a few years has shown, housing stability continues to be a real problem, interfering with academic success. And they've already taken steps to improve that situation with the acquisition that they're in the process of the building on Rhodes, and then this extends that effort down to the corner of Maple and Cedar. And so we are asking for the option to purchase this land as we prepare a tax credit application, which is due next week. And this is kind of scary. And it'll be a $12 million project, roughly. It'll have 50 apartments, 2, 3, and 4 bedrooms, and we will price them for families making between 30% and 60% of the area median income. I have some preliminary drawings that show the layout of the building, as well as some elevations that our architect is working on.
Yeah, please feel free to step forward. To review 12 million, 2 to 3 bedroom, if I understood that correctly. 2 to 3 bedroom or 4? 2, 3, and 4. Okay, is this OFA funds you're pursuing? Yes. Okay. Very good.
I'll start with the elevation because the elevation is the easiest to grasp. This is the corner of Cedar and Maple here. And you can see there's a longer wing that would extend down down Cedar, and a shorter wing that would extend up Maple. The main entrance will be here facing Maple. It's across the street from the circle here. And then on our floor plans, again, the corner is Cedar and Maple here. Cedar, Maple. This is the ground floor with parking in the back. This will be the common area with some amenities, fitness, community room, kitchen, bike storage, as well as some meeting space and spaces for the school staff to do some of their social service wrap-on programming. And then the first floor will have apartments on this wing, and then the second and third floor will have apartments there devoted to student apartments.
Okay, well, thank you. Is there any questions from any committee members? I know President Somerville, comment?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to speak in favor for the proposed project. On Thursday, we did host a community meeting in conjunction with the Andecy, where Andecy kind of shared with the surrounding neighborhood what the project would look like. Neighborhood had an opportunity to ask some questions, and so the response from the community was extremely positive. And I think through the conversation, we actually found out that maybe there's an opportunity in gaining an additional community partner with the Andecy and the I Promise housing development to help to address some of the issues that are happening in that neighborhood. So just wanted to say that I'm in full support of the project, and I'm hoping that my colleagues will do the same. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. This is great to see the LeBron James Foundation continue on their promise to the city of Akron and the children here in the city of Akron, and this is a welcome development. Any questions or comments? Mr. Swirsky?
Yeah, this is adjacent
I didn't know if that
to
was-
my ward. I also feel strongly that this will be a really positive influence, and I commend the people, the expertise, and the persistence that you've shown at making this project happen.
Yes, thank you. ENDC, as we all know, they have a great track record of, a successful track record over a time frame of well over 30 years, I do know that. So this is a good community partner for sure. Further questions? Anyone else? Is there a recommendation for suspension of the rules with a favorable report?
Recommendation for suspension of the rules.
Is there a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. The ayes have it.
Get that tax credit.
4A, exactly, OFA. 4A, authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into an agreement and a grant, an easement on city-owned property at 226 Opportunity Parkway to the East Ohio Gas Company doing business as Dominion Energy Ohio. Anybody here for this? Oh, okay, very good.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
Mr. Lovett.
As you know, we built a new district energy system, and part of the district energy system and putting a redundant gas service into the plant, they built a new gas metering station on Opportunity Parkway, and part of this, we have to grant them an easement for their operation there.
Gotcha.
So there's no cost to this.
Gotcha, gotcha. Questions or comments from any committee members? Any council members?
Consent would be fine.
Consent is okay on this one?
Yes, sir.
Is there
Motion for consent.
Is there a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Against? The ayes have it. That's all to come before the committee. We're adjourned. Thanks.
Just one
Oh,
quick,
yes,
just
Mr.
a
Segedy.
reminder, at 4 o'clock, we'll have round 2 of the public hearing on the capital budget.
We're looking
Water and
forward to
sewer.
that too, Mr. Segedy. We're going to be going over public utilities, so all is invited.